Thanks to all the companies who have become part of the community here in the Commonwealth. As I was wandering around talking to many of you, a couple of themes came out of those conversations, and they're themes that I think are indicative of certainly what we think about as some of the things that we as a state can do, either on our own or working with some of our colleagues in the private sector or in municipal government. I heard a bunch of people talk about the fact that there's a lot of wicked smart people around here. No doubt. That is in some respects, I think, one of the great success stories of the past 50 years. We have always been an education center. We've always been a healthcare center, but it's really been in the last 50 years or so that we have found ways to truly leverage all that intellectual capital and to put it to work in so many different ways. There's a tremendous amount of energy and activity and innovation going on across all those spheres, and I think that had a lot to do with why a company like GE made the decision they made to come here. But that brings me to part number two, which is we've also made, as a Commonwealth, a series of really important investments over the course of the past 20 years or so. We've made investments in our infrastructure, we've made investments in our airports, we've made investments in what I would describe as sort of our greater community, sort of 128 in. And many of you are folks who I believe are taking advantage of a lot of the hard work that was done by many people in both the public and private sector over that period of time to create the infrastructure that would make possible a lot of what's happened over the course of the past several years. The other thing that I heard as I was wandering around was how important it is that we continue to make the sorts of investments that we need to make for the next act in all of these fields. And there's also about $100 million in there for public-private partnerships between the Commonwealth, our colleges and universities, our research and development organizations, and our private sector operations and enterprises. And that $100 million commitment has already borne fruit. I've always thought of Massachusetts fundamentally as a place that makes and thinks about the next generation of tools. The simple truth is, if you go back in the history and you look forward, we have always been a place that makes the next generation of tools. Whether you're talking about the Industrial Revolution or the first technology revolution or what will be the next revolution that's going to take digital information and healthcare information, which is now digitized, and the internet and the wireless world, and the ability to sort of collect data and information and put it all together and use it in new and unusual and different ways that nobody ever thought about before. And I think we are on the cusp of some really big things here in Massachusetts, and we're thrilled to have so many of you here, and I'm especially pleased to have so many of our new airline partners here as well.